Hal Willner, let's start this off with a shot of the Klipsch speaker up there, which Hal really enjoyed the tone of. And here's the lineup of the Mouth Almighty catalog. Hal was instrumental in the development of this label, which was started with Bill Adler and their Sekou Sunjata, who named it Mouth Almighty. And there is where Hal came in with the Ballad of the Skeletons, a song that Allen Ginsberg had written. There's Allen. We also at the same time came out with a reissue of The Lion for Real that Hal also produced with Allen. The Ballad of the Skeletons was Ted Demme made into a video that made it on MTV. Allen was on MTV. And of course on the cut, Lenny Kaye was producing, with Hal working on it. And Paul McCartney sent in his tracks. He had set up his whole room there, and Phil Glass had the piano on it. There's the CD that I came out with that Hal produced. We recorded up at Tom Waits' studio, Prairie Sun, and In With the Out Crowd was the title that Hal found in it. And there's the album that he really adored, Closed on Account of Rabies, with Ralph Steadman. Beautiful drawing, a double CD, plenty of poems and stories. It all goes back to Poe, and the Dr. John reading of that. I forget the name of that story with the teeth. And anyway, it's well worth seeking out, as they say. And there's the last. The Sister Spit was the last one. There's the last painting by Elizabeth Murray. Okay. Inside Willner's Ear, or the Hal Willner Tribute Album. The cilia in the semicircle canal are fibrillating at such dense rapidity that the hammer knocks the stirrup down off the anvil. It's the clatter of the stirrup, Hal is saying, that echoes the cilia in the first place. All of us are sitting there listening, and he's moving us around like puppets. I learned this from Lord Buckley when he was on the Ed Sullivan Show. Bob, you were on the Ed Sullivan Show, right? But what he's manifesting to know is the Allen recording of Ballad of the Skeletons. That's what he's wanting. How much Philip Glass's music worked the way a skeleton hears. And McCarthy spent days setting up his gear. I'm lucky too. SNL and Ed Sullivan, you get it? His cackle has now generated a diamond of sound, tripping along the virus trail, all that In With the Out crowd, recording the mice toes scampering at Tom Waits' Prairie Sun Studios. Vito, who has thus far been in a trance with his wrench guitar, all this time, he says, uncouple the melody. What is the name? What is the sound that a name makes when it's dropped from the top of a concentration camp? Well, with Hal, it's not dropping. It's inserting the name itself into the mix. David Thomas on the Pirate album, and just let's go. There's Chris Spedding, Wayne Kramer, Bobby Newworth on guitars. It's called In With the Out Crowd, a line from a poem that Hal found, I should have had that scratching DJ on top of everything, grouses Hal. He's the original grouser, heaving up a blade of creation. He invented the tribute album and then went on to make the most astonishing, whether they were Kurt Weill or whether they were Walt Disney Sun Ra Orchestra doing Pink Elephants on Parade. That's it. Okay, this is the Hal Willner tribute album, which is dancing inside of Willner's ear. I'm Bob Holman, and I don't know if I approve of anything that's going on now, but poems.